In this tutorial, we will be learning how to design the screen of your app. We will be using the Number Match app as an example, and we'll be building it in the 2-tab template. The first step will be to make a horizontal arrangement for the target, which is this section right here. And we'll place it inside our vertical arrangement for our app. And as we make it, we need to rename them. Meticulous renaming is extremely important, and it will make the programming part much easier. Now we're going to fill it with 3 labels. Let's say I accidentally put an image in instead of a label, and I want to get rid of that. We go down here and we click the delete button and delete it. And let's put in another label. Okay, we've got our 3 labels. Now, our first label is going to be a filler. So we're going to rename that label filler 1. Our second label is going to be our value for our target. And our third label is going to be our second filler label. From here, we need to edit our 3 labels. First, we'll start off with our label filler 1, and we don't want any text for our filler, so we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to set our width to fill parent. We'll do the same thing for our second filler. And now for our value target, we're going to set the font size to 80. And we're going to make the text just a 2. So as you can see, by putting a label on each side, we can center our value for our target. Up next, we need to make our button pad, which will be slightly more challenging. The first step will be to make a horizontal arrangement, and we're going to rename this horizontal arrangement buttons. Now inside our horizontal arrangement, we're going to need a label, and then a vertical arrangement, which will contain all of our buttons, and then another label. Before we continue, let's set our horizontal arrangements width to fill parent, and let's make our filler labels into filler labels. So let's rename them. Now in our vertical arrangement, we're first going to need a table arrangement, which will hold the buttons 1 through 6. Now we're going to need to edit our table arrangement to have 3 columns and 2 rows for our 6 buttons. Now we're going to put in our buttons, and we're going to put them in the order that we want them to appear. Now we need to edit all of our buttons to make sure we can see them. So we'll start off with button 1, and we're going to set its text to just a 1. Once we've done that, it looks much better. Now we need to add in our skip button, which will be our 7th button. And we want this to be outside the table arrangement. So we'll set the text to skip. And we want its width to fill the parent, so it will go all the way across the bottom. Now let's set up our filler labels. And now we have a centered number pad. Of course, we're going to want our buttons to be a bit more visible and easier to press, so we're going to make them slightly bigger. So let's make them all size 30. And we also want our skip button to be slightly bigger. So we're going to make that size 25. And we're going to make that bold. The final step of creating our app screen will be to make this correct, incorrect, and skipped array. The first step will be to put in a filler label. And then we're going to make 3 horizontal arrangements. And we'll rename them. And now inside each horizontal arrangement, we're going to place first a filler label, then 2 content labels, and then another filler label. Now we need to rename our labels. And we're going to name these two the text correct and the value correct. Now we're basically just going to do the same thing for the other two using incorrect and skipped. Now for the text, I'm going to make it size 30, and I'm going to make it say correct. Then for our value part, it will also be size 30, and I'm going to make it say just 0 for right now. And also, we need our horizontal arrangement to be on fill parent width. So that's the correct part. The incorrect and skipped will be exactly the same, except they will just use different words. And I'll let you do those.